How do you get your clients to follow through on the dog's treatment plan?
Um, well, that is dog training. It's like the easy bit of dog training is teaching dogs what we want them to do, motivating them to do it. At that point, all misbehavior and non-compliance has been squeezed out. There's just isolated, examples now, times when you have to deal with the dog not doing what you want or just generally misbehaving. And of course, the way we do that in a completely, we must correct the problem. So let's not fall into this trap with a lot of totally positive trainers who, when the dog jumps up, they do nothing or they turn their back. No, dog is doing something that you have to resolve it, and quickly today, because the owner's going to get frustrated, then angry, and then the dog is probably going to be somewhere else, in a shelter for someone else to deal with the problem. So what do? I start off with a compliance clause they have to sign. And it's very short. And I don't have contracts. I say, here's the deal. I'm very busy. I have a lot of clients. I really don't know whether I have the time to squeeze you in. If I do, though, I am absolutely adamant that you follow my instructions. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not my way or the highway. If you don't like what I tell you, then question it and I'll give you an alternative. Okay. But when I'm giving you advice, it's based on about 50 years in this field and over 120,000 puppies in Sirius. So we know what works, we know what doesn't. We know what works quickly, we know what takes a long time. We know what totally screws up a puppy, so now you've got really difficult adolescent problems like separation anxiety or fear of men or children or what have you. So I absolutely insist you follow my instructions, and I'll tell you why. When I work with a dog, it becomes part of me within seconds of working with it. This is not just a dog anymore. This is Sura or Bozo or whoever, whatever the dog's name is. And if it fails, number one, it's me that's failed. I have failed to communicate to you what needs to be done and how urgent that is. But if it fails, it rips a little piece out of my heart, and I'm too old to go through that. I've gone through it with numerous clients, so here's the deal. Every time we meet, there's no contract, it's so much an hour. Every time we meet, I will test the dog's behavior. The behavior doesn't lie. If I know you have not been doing the homework, I say goodbye to your dog, I walk away. So I'd like you to read this form, sign it. Okay, because I will not tolerate people that think training is a joke. My dog failed obedience class. No, it's not going to happen with me. I'm just not going to work with you because you failed obedience class. And because of that, your dog didn't get the education it needs and deserves. We had a sign, we rescued this dog once who was 10 and he just bit everyone who touched him, so of course came to live with us. And
Yeah.
we had a sign, and he took about a year to bring round before we could have him off leash in the house with our other dogs and the cats and people coming in. I would still watch him his entire life. He lived another 4 years, but I still kept an eye on him. But we had a sign over his bed, and it said, "A dog's brain is too precious to waste." And that's how I feel, because when you start training, you're opening up communication channels. And this is it's a wonderful thing. I mean, I love watching dogs play. I mean, that's what I did in research, for goodness sake. I watched dogs play for 10 years. I watched them interact. And then when I started the puppy school in 82, I then became a part of this play. I call it the tango of dog training. But I'm a participant. It's not just let the puppies off leash, let them have a colossal out of control play session with trainers excluded. No, we are a part of this. And watching it change their behavior. Even now, what I do, we train second career dogs. So these are dogs that have been trained to do something else but didn't make the grade. But they are very stable. It's the good thing about them. They have great temperaments and they're slow moving and, you know, but they didn't make the grade. So we train them up and we pretty much do a makeover on their brain in 3 days to a week. In 3 days to a week, we have different adult dogs. By 2 weeks, they are fitting in with our pack. That means they will spend a lot of time off leash together, 7 dogs in the same room, or individually crated. In the evenings, of course, all in this tiny room where we read or watch, binge watch, you know. We're doing James Herriot at the moment, All Creatures Great and Small.
Oh yeah.
Like a flashback in time. Last night we had 5 dogs on the couch and 2 on the ottoman in front of us. A pile of dog flesh. They join that. But the point is, that still gives me the thrill that a dog comes in and we may not like them. We may not like their behavior. But within 7 days, we begin to love them. So now what if the owners don't follow my instruction? Then I have a little routine that I do. And I have to stop myself laughing when I do it because it's all a sham, but it's going to wise the owner up so fast you can't believe. So I'll do it for you. I'll pretend you're the owner with a Malamute who's not following my instructions. So we'll wind the clock back to how it could have gone with Sura when you first came to me. And I gave you some homework. We come back for the second thing, and it's so obvious you haven't done a damn thing. You're still feeding treats. You're feeding the dog in a bowl. Behavior never lies. You know, I know what you've done. So I'll have a look at Sura before starting the class, and I'll look at you like this. It gets a bit quiet, and I go up to Sura, and I kneel down in front of her, and I put my head down onto hers, and I say, "It's okay, baby." Yeah, okay. Bye-bye. And I get up and begin to walk out of the room without looking at you. And you say, "What's wrong, Dr. Dunbar?" And I turn around and say, "You want to know what's wrong? It's you. You know, I can't stand this. It's a perfectly good dog. I've given you the solutions. You're not doing a damn thing. This is just ridiculous. Well, it's not going to rip the part out of my heart. You aren't going to do that to me. Either you think about this over this week and then you tell me, I'm sorry, I will do everything you suggest with this dog, or I'm out of here. That's why I can't work with your dog. Thank you. Goodbye." And I walk out. Now I smile. That's obviously a joke. It's just acting. But my God, that wises up people quickly. I am not going to waste time talking to people about their dog without them following the advice. I'm not going to do it.